You're my lucky Meteor. Right on.
Hey guys, Grimarillion here. I hope you are doing well. I've been experimenting with some Meteor builds and I want to discuss a few. Two of these builds are from the base game that I've ported over, and the third is a mod character. These builds are fun and flashy as hell as shards are torn from the sky into your enemies. The first build we'll look at is the Druid. This is a frozen sky shard build, and as such the gear really reflects that. I'm wearing the Eastern Oath set, which is the chest, legs, and gloves. For the belt, I have +1 to Arcanist skills. The metal provides many bonuses to the modifiers to Frozen Sky Shard. Stormbearer's boots. I'm wearing this green for the modifier and for the 10% chance on attack to launch Sky Shards. I'm wearing this shield for the +1 to Arcanist skills. +1 to all skills. Nice bonuses here to the modifiers, plus 10% chance on attack for more sky fragments. Bonus to the modifier, Shattered Star. And on the weapon, I'm using the Sky Shard Spellblade for the modifiers and 50% chance on critical attack to grant more Sky Shards. And if you see my critical attack, it is very high at almost 30%. OA at 3360. My DA here is a little low, so don't expect it to pull maximum Grimmest, but it's fun as hell to play and does very well in Grim Dawn Vanilla. If you want to look at skills here, we have Mirror, which is extremely important as it grants 100% damage absorption for 3 seconds. And Maven's Sphere of Protection, this grants 24% damage absorption. And I almost forgot to show you the Relic, which is also grants 20% damage absorption and 20% health restored. This is 10% chance when hit. Frozen Sky Shard is our main attack. I've invested as many points as I could in this. I've got 23 out of 16, 19 out of 12, and 21 out of 12. Lots of passives here for OA, DA, and some casting speed. For Shaman, extremely important is the Wind Devil. You can have up to 3 of these. And it reduces resistance to elemental damage by both the Elemental Storm Devotion proc and the skills modifier, Raging Tempest. Maelstrom is pretty neat because it strikes down enemies with lightning bolts. I'm using Grasping Vines for both the slow and to spread resist reduction of arcane bombs. And Storm Totems, which I have Blizzard tied to. You can also have 3 of these summoned at one time. Lots of buffs here. We have Stormcaller's Pact for some crit damage and bonuses to Lightning and Cold. Madrogan's Pact. We have Heart of the Wild and Oak Skin, pretty much soft capped. And then Iskandra's Elemental Exchange for the energy regen, offensive ability, and damage bonuses. I almost forgot to mention the most important devotion proc, Time Dilation. It has a 68% chance to reduce all cooldowns by 6 seconds, which resets your cooldowns on all of your active attacks. Also, I have Viper, Blizzard, Arcane Bombs. I think we covered a lot of this already. Just kind of looking through here. Elemental Storm, which was tied to Wind Devils. Oh, and we have Giant's Blood, which is a heal. I need a little extra defense, so I went with that. The next build we'll look at is the Shieldbreaker. This is a fire-based meteor build. I'm not going to go through every piece of gear, but I'll let you know what's kind of important. This weapon here has +1 to demolitionist skills and also excellent OA shred. 275 is almost double that of the actual Blackwater cocktails. Using 3-piece Baldur's set, basically just for the +3 to judgment. I'll explain why here soon. Annihilation has +1 to demolitionist skills and has a 20% chance on attack to release meteors. The 3-piece Blaze Seer set is also important because when you combine the ring, metal, and belt, you are granted Rain of Fire, which is more meteors. This green monster infrequent flesh wrap defender, I'm using that for the reduced cooldown on Judgment. Basically to line up the cooldowns of Judgment and the Meteor Shower Devotion proc so that the cooldowns are synchronized. When it comes to skills, this is mainly a fire build. Just throw bombs and activate Judgment so that your procs can activate, that being Meteor Showers. Now that I've synchronized Judgment to have the same cooldown as Meteor Shower, every activation of Judgment will rain fire because Meteor Shower is 100% chance on attack. Judgment also debuffs defensive ability by 236. Oathkeeper also has some player skilled pets that have resist reduction to fire. Thermite mines reduce elemental resistance by 40%. Blackwater Cocktail has a little bit of OA shred on it. Not as good as the weapon procs, but still better than nothing. And it also reduces resistances by 25 flat. Lots of buffs. Blast Shield, which is a circuit breaker, gives you 165 damage absorption, some dodge. Fire Strike you just activate in between bomb throws. Mortar Trap just for fun, just to see a little bit more projectiles falling from the sky. I almost forgot to mention that there's Ascension, which is essentially a oh shit button that you can trigger for damage absorption. Very nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it on that. Wayward Soul is a defensive proc. I have that bound to one of the buffs, Flame Touch. Eldritch Fire is more fire resistance reduction. I have that bound to Thermite Mines. Meteor Shower is bound to Judgment, as we've already discussed. Fissure bound to Blackwater Cocktail. These are basically little volcanoes that proc. And I like to have a heal, Dryad's Blessing, bound to Fire Strike, so it's constantly being proc. I basically spam Fire Strike in between all my other cooldowns, and thus I am constantly being healed. And yeah, this build is loads of fun to play. A player can basically use this Meteor build with any class combination as long as it has ample fire resistance reduction and a skill with a 3-second cooldown. The third build I want to talk about is a mod character. This is the Inquisitor plus the Wizard from D3. I've noticed I've used a lot of the same gear on this character. I'm actually using the same gun from the Shieldbreaker and also the Blaze Seer set. So that's the belt, the medal, and the ring. I actually have 2 of the rings. Additionally, I'm wearing the Firebird set, which is a 4-piece set, so it is the chest, boots, shoulders, and helmet. And we'll take a deeper look at each one of those. Firebird's Breath gives us +3 the Blizzard, +2 the Unstable Anomaly, which we're going to rely heavily on Blizzard with its fire modifier. The boots have +3 the Hydra, which we're going to be using for resist reduction. +2 the magic weapon, which we'll be using for damage absorption. And +3 to Molten Impact, which is part of the Meteor skill. The set bonus offers us some bonuses to fire damage, gives us some maximum fire resistance, and +1 to all wizard skills, as well as +3 to Meteor. The offhand I'm using for the Horn of Gander, gives us some DA shred, reduces target's defensive ability by 200, and it reduces the cooldown of Horn of Gander by 2. And the amulet also reduces the cooldown of Horn of Gander by 1. And we are not using the Meteor relic here, we are using the Glory Bringer, which offers us damage absorption both flat and percentage. It also offers +1 to all skills. Speaking of skills, we'll go ahead and move right on into the Inquisitor. We are using Word of Renewal, which is an instant heal. I had mentioned Horn of Gander earlier. This is important because it reduces our target's damage, both physical damage by 20% and elemental damage by 33%. Aura of Censure is a resist reduction. It reduces elemental resistance by 30%. Inquisitor Seal is giving us some damage absorption. And the only trick to this is you have to be standing inside the seal for it to count. And Deadly Aim gives us plus 18 to offensive ability and some crit damage. We're using Magic Weapon because once it's soft capped we gain 15% damage absorption. It also increases offensive ability by 13%, so combining that with Deadly Aim we have 31% to offensive ability. And it offers us some resistances and crit damage, most importantly that physical resistance there. Unstable Anomaly is a circuit breaker which can activate at 50% health and gives us 12% defensive ability and increases all damage by 200%. Hydra is important for the resist reduction. It offers negative 35% to elemental resistance. Frost Nova gives us 40% to elemental resist reduction. Blizzard has an 11-second cooldown. We'll be relying on that to activate Eldritch Fire, which also reduces fire resistance. And I also need the modifier to Blizzard, which converts 100% of cold damage to fire. And most importantly, our spammable skill, Meteor, which will be the main focus of our damage and heals, as I've bound Dryad's Blessing to this. The only problem with this build is I find it very energy hungry. So the devotions are actually looking a lot similar to the other ones: Wayward Soul, Eldritch Fire, Giant's Blood, Elemental Storm tied to Frost Nova. One difference I did in the devotion tree is I collected as much physical resistance as I could get. I got my physical resistance up to 36%, with still room to grow with Magic Weapon. And now we'll take a look at some honorable mentions, as I couldn't possibly make builds around all of these. And just so you guys know, you don't have to find classes that have Meteor skills that have a Meteor build. As I've demonstrated with like the Shieldbreaker, it has absolutely no Meteor skills, but all of its Meteors come from its procs. So you could also take something like the Purifier, which is the Demolitionist and the Inquisitor, and equip the Blazeseer set from earlier and the Eastern Oath set from the Druid, and have a million Meteors falling just from your procs alone. And it would be viable granted you had enough elemental resist reduction. And just so you guys know, I don't actually intend for this to be a guide to be followed per se, but more of a resource to inspire people to create their own unique builds. But when it comes to casters, your best chance of surviving Grimace Ultimate is robust damage absorption, attack damage converted to health if you can get it, or cooldown reducted immunities. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. I also want to take this time to thank everyone in the Discord for their support to each other. You guys have been incredible. If anyone else wants to join us, there's a link to the Grimarillion Discord in the description below. Like and subscribe for more Grim Dawn content, and stay excellent.